Hey everyone, give me a minute. I'm here by myself and I am trying to get this set up. Hi. All right, let's see. We're just gonna wait a couple minutes, maybe like a couple seconds, see who comes on. And get my thing up here so I can see the comments. But for everybody who's on, who doesn't know me, I'm Aubrey. I own 99 House Balloons. We're in Chicago-ish, just like maybe 5 miles outside of Chicago, technically Forest Park. So anyone coming to float, hit me up because we are very close to that. Let's see. Oh, my burst people are here. Hey, those are my local people. If you have not gotten their balloons yet, you can get those through Having a Party. They have cute starbursts and a jean jacket foil. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Hopefully I'm not frozen. It looks a little frozen. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Maybe this is just slow. Let's see. Oh, we got a thumbs up. Awesome. Wait for a little bit longer. And all right, I'll just start. So anyone who just joined, my name's Aubrey. I own 99 House Balloons. We're in Forest Park, which is just outside of Chicago. This is my workshop. Long story short, my husband and I owned a bar and we bought it in 2019. And when COVID happened, we couldn't sell booze and we couldn't have parties because we have an event space. And I did small balloons in the event space. And we were sitting there and we couldn't get like any of the PPP or any of that stuff. And we're like, what are we gonna do? And we were watching a Marvel movie and there was this giant outdoor balloon arch, and I was like, I'll just do the balloons outside. And my husband's like, you think so? I was like, yeah, why not? And so we did, and now we've shut down the bar, so that is this workshop. Went from a bar to a balloon shop. And now this is just our business, and it's fun and happy and always stress-free. So today, I am going to teach you guys how to make this foil balloon wall. It's 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide. And it's big. So I'm going to show you real quick a finished one. And I'm going to do a little bit of a different version. I'm going to do kind of a sweet theme. So I'm going to also teach you how to make a couple cute little candy add-ons. Again, if anybody follows me, I'm like super into nostalgia right now. I just made these like stick-on earrings out of foil balloons. I did like a cherry Coke 90s photo shoot and just very into the nostalgia. So we're gonna do some Twizzlers, some Smarties, and like those cherry heart charms pops too. So basically supplies. These giant foam boards I get at Uline, 8 feet by 4 feet. I use them for mosaics, like, I don't know, everything. I made the earring backdrop with it. This is just a roll of plastic tablecloth. Sometimes I use like a foil tablecloth, but I didn't really feel like doing it for this one. But that's what I used on this original wall, and you can see it, but it's the same concept. So you can get like a shinier foil, or you could do plastic. So for the plastic, it's pretty simple. You just take it. I always overlap on every end so you can tuck it behind the back, and you literally just roll it out. So again, I went ultra wide angle to try to get as much of this in as possible, but it's 8 feet by 4 feet. So it might not all be visible, but I'll cut this real quick and get down to the other end. So I'll be back in the frame in about 5 seconds. And I am checking comments, so if there's any questions, just type them in as I go along. And if I miss it, don't be afraid to ask it again. I have 4 kids, so I am used to answering questions like 10 times a day, 10 different ways. My kids are 11, 9, 7, and 5, all girls. So this is actually kind of a break right now. And if they're watching, hello. So I'm just using packing tape to put this on. For the plastic tablecloth, this is what is best. I've used hot glue for plastic. That's not a great option, it'll melt it. But for the foil, it's okay. But if you are in any temperature like Chicago, the hot glue or even the dashes, they get a little bit frigid in the cold temps. So the packing tape seems to keep a pretty decent hold. Oh, praying for me, all girls, yes. We've just started 6th grade for my oldest, and it's very fun. It is actually, it's a nice age, but I don't remember 6th grade being like this when I was in 6th grade. So high school should be super fun. All right, I got the first row down, and then obviously we want to get the whole thing, so I'm gonna just double up the roll. It doesn't have to be super pretty because it's the backdrop. You're putting all of the foils and add-ons on top of this, so no one's gonna see if it's not perfect. You just want to make sure that it's presentable from the front and then wraps around the sides. And you can put 2 of these together to make like a big giant backdrop if you wanted to do like an 8x8. We did that, again, you can look on my Instagram page, but we have like a gold backdrop that we've done with just the regular 18-inch gold rounds, and we put a gold foil backdrop on that, and we put 2 of them together, and it makes a very easy and portable and reusable backdrop. Just gonna cut this one, then I'll do the other side. Just a little bit here so it doesn't flap open. Let's see. Hopefully I don't knock over the camera. Exactly. All right. So we've got this kind of taped up. I'm not going to do it perfectly, but you'll want to secure it pretty well all the way around, so you don't have anything like this flapping around. And also from Uline, if you are going to put the order in to order these sheets of foam board, I order the queen size mattress bags, and I can put 2 of those, one on the top and one on the bottom, to transport these, so nothing flies out in transport. So even again in Chicago, all those wind gusts that we experience through all the seasons, we can transport these with no issue. Okay, now I put down the foils. So the way that I started with the foils, and because I put down the big ones first. And then I always kind of pick out a theme or a color scheme. So for this one, I wanted sweets, because I've already done kind of like an all red one. I did one that had some pink. And Valentine's Day for me just reminds me of candy, sweets. So, and having a party had a lot of really cute sweets foils, like this donut. So I just kind of wanted to highlight those. The way that I pick how many to put on here is I just start with my big ones that I know I want, usually like 3. Put those down first. So I'm going to put those, because that helps you figure out your spacing. When I put the bigger ones down, I like them to kind of be separated. And you can overlap on every single side so it goes a little bit off if you need to, except for the bottom. So make sure whatever you're lining up on the bottom, you want to be like exactly in line with the bottom. So I'll put, this guy is literally, I cannot, he's so cute. It's like a clear gummy bear. I was like, I don't care which sweet balloons you guys send me, I just need that gummy bear. This one's like a cookie, we're gonna put that over there. It's not necessarily huge, but it has more of a pattern on it, a little bit more texture. So I like to break that up too. And then I have this cupcake also. This is kind of, swap these around, put these down, and then you start filling in with your smaller ones. I am gonna attach these. You can use hot glue. Again, I love using glue on these, or the dashes for the strips. If you do the strips, let's see. These will stay on the plastic nicely. The only thing though, if you're in colder temps, sometimes when you're transporting, they get a little bit rigid. But if it's in the bag, they should stay just fine. Kind of protects it a little bit. So then I'm just putting that on and pressing it on, and it's gonna stay. So we'll secure our big ones, and then we'll move on to filling in the gaps with everything. I know, he's so cute. And I found a clear in my stash, a 16-inch clear heart balloon that I'm going to use to make that charmed lollipop that I talked about at the beginning to add on to here. So again, we just take these, the bigger strips, we'll just kind of hold it a little bit easier. I always tuck the valves on these. Sometimes I use packing tape, sometimes I use the glue dashes. Just depends on my mood. You'll see how I just kind of start filling in. So again, along the bottom, you just want them to be flat so they're in line. So that if you do stand it up, that the balloons aren't going to shift the whole wall. You can attach this to any kind of base that you might have. You can attach it directly to a wall. I've put these 3M zip tie things on the back of these that you can put easily to attach, and I can link those later. But they're good for installs also. Let's see. And you don't want this cupcake one, it kind of sticks out a lot, but it's nice to have one or two that kind of make it a little bit more 3D, kind of dimensional. Just give it a little bit of extra something. As the backing, this is a piece of 8x4 foam board that I'm using as the backing. I get it from Uline. And then I kind of like to put some of these around the bigger ones, the 18-inch. And then I also have some 14-inch, some 4-inch, and then some clear bubbles. Again, I like to give it like a lot of texture, which is why, again, I'm adding those. So I'm using, oh, you can barely hear me? Okay, let me see if I can turn it up. Hold on. I can maybe take my earbud out, it might be better. So let me see. it easier to hear me now? I took my earbud out. Is it easier or harder to hear me? Better? Okay. So I'm using packing tape and the Ooglu, the contractor pack, the strips. I kind of mix it up. A little better. I will raise my voice also. Sorry about that. It's a little bit of a bigger, like I said in the beginning, anyone that's just joining, this was a bar. We had a bar, and now it's a workshop. So the acoustics are not great in here. But I will try, and I will put my bar voice on. So again, we're just taking these 18-inch now and kind of filling in on the board. And don't be afraid to like move them like on their side or even upside down. You just kind of want to fill in the space. The foam board is covered in plastic roll. I also use like a foil roll. I get it on Amazon. It's this one. On this one, this is the foil backing, and then this one I use plastic. Both of them work well. This is one of those that I like to bring in for texture. And another one that kind of sticks out a little bit. Let's see. And there's no like right or wrong way, honestly, to put these on. It's just putting them where they fit and where you like how they look. I do like to try to fill a decent amount of the negative space because I think that it looks a little bit cleaner. All right, let's see. Get a couple more of these in. And after these, then we'll do our fun little nostalgia candies, which again, sorry for people who've been here the whole time, but I've got like a thing with nostalgia right now. Just like reliving my childhood. So I made these, you can check out on my page, but I made these stick-on earrings out of foil balloons, the little 4-inch ones that are just so cute. And then I also did like a cherry Coke can. I learned that from Lily, Creative Heart Studio. Not necessarily the can, but the techniques. One of her tutorials on her subscription page is a drum. And I took the drum and I just made it way bigger and made it into a Coke can. You'll see this doesn't take that long. I did pre-inflate, obviously, all of these, but if you just kind of fill in the gaps and then you have a pretty full wall relatively fast. Let's see, what time is it? Yeah, 7:20. And I'm definitely slower because talking and working are not my strong point. So it could probably go a little bit faster. How many people on here are coming to float? Anybody? Oh, I see a lot of my local people. Hi, guys. I actually grew up in the town where Float is at, in Lombard. I'm a little bit farther away now, like 20 minutes, but I'm closer to the city. So if anybody wants to meet up and needs a tour guide from the city, hit me up, because I got all sorts of fun spots and tips and tricks. Parking, Uber, whatever you guys need. Restaurant recommendations if you're staying before or after float. Even out in Lombard where float is, there's a couple tips I can give. Oak Brook is another mall that's right by there. And they have very good restaurants there. I'm walking around to the other side to put this one on. Does anybody have any questions right now? Oh, I'm just kind of filling in the gaps. Adorable too, a little chocolate covered strawberry. These would be super cute, like with just all the sweets, like the gummy bear, the strawberry, the cookie, the donut, just in a bouquet, like a helium bouquet. And the thing I like about foils for helium is you can inflate them way farther in advance. I guess the air you can too, but versus latex helium. Put that one at the top. Let's see. I'm gonna get some of these smaller ones in. Okay, pricing again. Pricing I'll get back to, because that I feel like is super dependent on the market that you're in, but I will say on that, I am renting these out to some clients. So like I have a restaurant that's doing like a Valentine's night and they just wanted to rent it for one night. I have also like a school dance that's going to rent one. I haven't had any issues with the weight of the balloons pulling the plastic off the board at all. And this one, I've had this up for 2 weeks. This big heart did fall off when I was transporting it, but that's the only thing that happened. Yes, this would, well, I actually don't know if this would fit in a U-Haul van. I have a box truck. We have a 17-foot box truck that we use, but I think it would, because it's 8 feet tall, 4 feet wide. So I think even if you had 2 of them, you could lay them, it should fit in a U-Haul van. I have my personal vehicle, again, if anyone's just joining, I have 4 kids, so I have like a Lincoln Navigator L, like the extra long, and I can fit one of these in that car. So I would think it should fit in a U-Haul van. My best guess would be yes. But you can always shorten it. You could cut the piece even though it comes in. So again, on pricing, it's very dependent of market and what people will pay, but kind of like Deloons last night was talking about, you just you have to figure out how much do your foils cost you. You have to charge at a minimum, like when it's a rental item, what I do is I price out how much all the foils cost me and all the materials. And like, you have to buy the whole, like these sheets of foam board, they're not cheap. They're like 20 bucks each. But then I take that, and if I'm renting it, and I know I can rent it to a couple people, kind of figure out at least like you would on another rental. So if anyone does backdrops too, one of my ways that I calculate that is I might not make a profit on the first run, but I have to at least break even. So that's kind of how I calculate it without getting into very specific pricing. The benefit or creating, what is the benefit or creating this as opposed to a link wall? I think it's just aesthetics. It depends on what you're looking for. There's not, I wouldn't say there's like a benefit necessarily. It's looks a little bit different than a link wall, aesthetically. I guess you're maybe like a link wall with foils on top of it. But speed wise, I think it's a little bit faster than using like a link wall as a base and putting foils on top of it. That's just my opinion. And then aesthetically, again, it's a little bit different. I always try to kind of create stuff that I haven't seen. It feeds my insides, so maybe a little bit self-serving. All right, we're gonna take all these littles now and put these on just to fill in some of these gaps. And I like to layer these. So again, it gives it some dimension. So like these lips I put kind of layered. This part I'm gonna, so you can use a stand. I have stands that are made out of plywood and conduit that screws into them. So you can use those. You can also, I put hooks on the back to attach to specific surfaces. Obviously something that you can't, that you can't damage. I would not make the stand out of foam board like I do for like a mosaic because it's heavier than a mosaic. Donut's not happy. I have pretty good coverage on here, and I do want to add those things that I was talking about in the beginning. So I am going to, let's see. And my workshop is a little bit cold. I don't know if anybody follows my stories, but we had heating issues this week. That's why I have my sweatshirt on. Let's see. So I'll probably go off camera while I put this up, but I'll be right back. Oh, I just popped my balloon. Now I'm going to show you some of the fun little add-ons that I had planned. I like to add, and I think you might have seen in the other one, sometimes like if I want to color a balloon besides the red, there is a spray paint method in the cold that never ever works for me, and it always flakes. So what I like to do is, if you have a Cricut, I grab my sticky mat, take a piece of vinyl, and it's not the cheapest method by any means, but I like to use it on the smaller balloons. And I just flatten the vinyl backwards on here, and then peel it up. Let's see. And then you try to put this on as smoothly as possible. You don't have to cover the valve with the vinyl. So I usually just go from one corner to the other. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's gonna end up looking pretty good. And then I take one of these vinyl things and kind of just smooth this on. Scissors, cut around it. And I like to put it on the sticky mat so it just keeps it in place. And then just trim the excess off. Again, it's not the most cost-effective method. Just a little tip if you really have your heart set on doing something, but again, if you live in like a colder area, like I have a workshop, we have even a spray room in our basement, but it was so cold in our basement this week that I could not spray paint without everything falling off of the balloon. So this does come off pretty easily, just as you would cut like wrapping paper. If you stay close to the edge without actually cutting and just kind of dragging it along. This way you also don't cut the balloon, because if you do that, then it'll leak. And then you wasted the vinyl and something is falling behind me. So for demonstration purposes, I did not put it on a base, but I normally would have it on a base or mounted to the wall. Okay, so now you just have the one side covered. Hand pump. So you can see now I've got pink lips instead of red sparkle lips. And heat seal. And again, on the heat seal, I think I always do at least 2 to make sure that it stays filled. And now we've got some lips that we can add in. And then next we're gonna do my Smarties. So the Smarties, one thing just as a, I'm sure most of you know this, but trademark infringements and whatnot. I will call them Smarties. On my vinyl, I named them Sweeties, just because I don't have permission to use Smarties. Anybody knows anybody that works at Smarties, hit me up. We'll put this one there. Now we got some pink lips. There we go. Okay. So the Smarties I make, if anyone has made friendship bracelets, this is, the harder way, I guess, to make them. You can use regular links, but I do the apple method. So I started some here, but I'll start them from the beginning too. Let me just clean my workspace up. I like to use 160s. And for the Smarties, I do 1 pump on a hand pump. And then I tie the 160 in with the knot. I just feel like it's more secure. I add another knot on it. And for these, I did 12 Smarties for each one. So I made some of them already. So I'm only gonna make 4. Just for time's sake. Camera closer, yeah, look, hold on. Let's see. There we go. You can use a 260 too. I just, because these are so small and it's only one pump, I like the 160s. But 260s would work fine. I just got distracted. Okay. So now you have these, so you could do your apple twists, which you take your thumb. I take my thumb, and I don't have a nail, so it's fine for me. And find the tip of the balloon. Usually there's a little bit of a darker spot, so you know which one it is. And just push it through and grab the tip. If you struggle with this, I think practicing on 5" is the easiest. And you just kind of twist it. So now I have my strand that I already started, and I'm gonna twist it into it, just like that. So again, you can make those friendship bracelets the same way as the Smarties. And if they're not perfectly level, you can always kind of squish them a little bit, so they're a little bit more flat. And then just repeat. And Smarties, I don't know if anybody eats them still, but none of the colors are ever in the same order. So I just put whatever colors as they pop in. Interestingly enough, I always thought there was purple Smarties, and I don't think there actually is, but I looked at the picture on how to make these. But I swear, it's like one of those, I don't know what they call it. That, is it the Mandela effect? Like, I swear there was purple Smarties when I was a kid. And I pre-cut the vinyl for this. Again, I didn't do actual Smarties because I don't want to ever get in trouble for trademark things without permission from the brand. This one just popped, so I'm going to cut it off. I call them Sweeties instead. And it goes with the theme of the wall. So this one again is kind of squished, so I'll just kind of squish this and even it out. I don't know if you can see that. This one too, you can see. So I'll squish this a little bit and then just trim this excess off. Anything that's hanging out. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought there was purple. But if anyone finds purple, let me know, because I swear I was looking because I wanted to get the colors as close as possible without double stuffing. Okay. Now, of course, the most important part of Smarties is the wrapper. So, clear cellophane roll. Roll it out. And I wrap all sorts of different, like, balloon candies with stuff like this. And you just literally roll it. I like to do a little bit of an overlap because it makes the ends, like, extra crinkly, which, again, that whole nostalgia thing, like, it literally reminds me of unwrapping the Smarties. And packing tape just to close it up. I have like a template that I use. I can share it, and I can share the font if anybody wants the font. But when I'm looking for a font, because I like to replicate things as close as possible, I just Google it, the font. A lot of times it has one, but now there's like all these new font generators that you can just upload. Like, I don't, right into Canva or Cricut, whichever one. Alright. Then, I was trying to figure out how to do just the tip spread, but I gave up on that. So, I'm using the new Brookloon, which is so cute, and they're so good. The 260s to tie the ends and give it a little bit of my own twist. So when I use the 260s to tie things as opposed to blow them up, I like to take all the air out. So I just start at the tip and pull all the way down, and it's a little bit more like a ribbon then. So I'm just gonna tie this one on, make a bow, because bows are all over the place right now. It just kind of gives my own little spin on tying it. The one thing when you're tying the opposite end of this is you gotta push these back down. Just kind of give it a little push, then it's nice and tight on the end there. I mean, even though it's giant, it still smells, or not smells, that would be nice. Sounds like the Smarties wrapper. So again, I pull all the air out, tie a knot at the end so it's a little bit more like a ribbon. Knot it, make the bow, and then just kind of trim off some excess. I trim the tail off so it looks a little bit more like a bow, less like a balloon. And then I probably only want like 2 inches or so I'm just gonna cut that off, kind of fluff it up. You know, it's cute. But the thing that's gonna really make it look like Smarties is the label that I printed out. And I did pre-print it. I can share where I got it. Let's see, that one's a little bit. I made another one earlier. A little bit longer. So, see, I did Sweeties with the Smarties label. So I'm going to cut these. And then after this, I'm going to add in some Twizzlers, which again, I use the Brookloons. The Twizzlers are super easy. I made those without a wrapper, but you could easily make a wrapper for them. I did a Taylor Swift party for one of my daughters, and I made, like, we went and saw the movie in the theater, and I made like custom candy boxes and just kind of made them all based on Taylor Swift songs. That's kind of what I did for these. You just use the transfer. Probably could have gone a little bit longer to get more of the edge on there. And then just kind of, the vinyl was a little bit off center, kind of like the logo. So you just want to make sure when you put it on that it's kind of off center also. Smooth it on. And I know this is a lot of detail, so I don't always do stuff like this for all of my clients. This is kind of more like passion project to go into all the details, but it's still cute. And there's your giant Smarties. These would be cute in a couple different ways, I think so. You can just kind of figure out, again, wherever you want to put them, that kind of looks. Let's see. I kind of like them next to the donut. The transfer tape I get on Amazon. And again, I'm not sure what it is, but it looks like this. Let's see if it says it inside. inside of this it says Tape Man Blue. I like it because it's not super sticky. It's, I don't know, it comes off nicely on all surfaces that I work with balloons. Oh, the transfer, it's my favorite transfer tape. I've tried a lot of them. I have had a Cricut or a Silhouette for probably, I don't know, I'm probably aging myself, but I think like 15, maybe even 20 years. I swear I had one of the first Silhouettes when it came out. And I've just tried so many transfer tapes. And that one's just, it's just good. I also sometimes, if I know it's kind of like a more finicky surface, I will just literally take it, if it's fresh off the roll, like I'll reuse this a bunch of times, but I'll put this like on my sweatshirt so it's a little bit less sticky. But it's still sticky enough to transfer everything really, really well. But my employees, it drives them crazy, but I'll take this and like put it on the edge of the island just so I have it just in case, because I like reusing the ones that have already been used because they're easier to get stuff off. Okay, there's our Smarties. Let's see, or our Sweeties, I should say. I'll put that one in later. And then the Twizzlers. So the Twizzlers, super simple. These are two that I made. Like I said, you can make like a giant bag for them if you want with the cellophane, but for today I'm just going to kind of stick them in. Let's see. So each Twizzler, just, it's super simple, but two. I like to pre-stretch them. And then 5 pumps for each one. And we'll go 6 pumps. They're super stretchy. Tie this one. And then just tie these two together. And I always like to just kind of go through and squeeze them just so the air and everything is evenly distributed. And then I take, the way that I like to make these is I hold the knotted ends together and I just twist with my other hand. And I twist as tight as I can. They're not going to stay that tight, but once you get about halfway through, even if you let go, it's not going to totally unwind. So then just keep twisting down. Again, this is like a pretty simple candy, but I like to take like something simple like this and repeat it a lot of times. Like again, if you look at some of my work, I'll take the same balloon, especially foils, and just repeat them, and I think that a lot of people are starting to do that right now. But it makes, take the same shape, for instance, like orbs. You just repeat it a bunch of times, or, you know, Tiffany just came out, not just, but came out with the squares, the Tough Tech squares, and those like repeated a bunch of times. Like people have made crazy, crazy things, and it just looks nice. So we have 3 Twizzlers. I like odd numbers, so I'm gonna stick with 3. And this is something that I would just kind of maybe put in and like maybe put something down there, shove it a little bit, and then maybe bend it. So it just kind of comes out and looks kind of Twizzlery. Like I'm envisioning like putting Twizzlers in a jar and they just kind of pour over the top. So that's what I would kind of do with this one. So it just kind of looks like, yeah, I don't think I like that one. Let's see, maybe up there. That gives a little bit of texture. And this is one that you can have go kind of off the other way. Okay. This one is the giant heart cherry lollipop, one of my favorite Valentine's candies. I will redo this, but for now, again, I didn't want to put charms on there, so I made this little Happy Valentine's Day, kind of like a retro font, just to put on the outside of that. So I'll do that first, and then I'll show you how I made the lollipop. I know it's a little bit backwards, but just kind of want to get this lollipop in the wall and get the wall a little bit finished. So this one I did not put on my sweatshirt first, so it is a little bit stickier. But you can see it's still, like, it's a pretty soft transfer tape. And so, like, even when it's on balloons, it's just easier to get it on and off, I think. Latex and foil. And this is like cellophane, which I would normally think would rip pretty easily, but it didn't rip. Well, there's our lollipop. This one, I'm running out of space that's in the screen, but I'll zoom out once I'm done so we can see where everything ended up. Put that one on. Let's see. I did the Smarties giant lollipop. Double my transfer paper. I don't know what you mean by double it. It comes in a roll though. So again, it's from Amazon. It says, and I can link it afterwards, Tape Man Blue. It's 100 feet, 12 inches wide. So then you can just use as much or as little as you need. But we're gonna do this little cherry lollipop next. I'm gonna put it on the board. And I did not attach those Twizzlers, I just kind of shoved them in, so I would normally obviously attach them. But I just kind of wanted to show how I choose like where to put things, and that you can kind of just place it in to see where you need it to go. Okay, the giant lollipop. These hearts I found, they've been in the jar for a long time. So if I pop one, that's the face that I'm making right now because I am scared to pop it. All right, so clear 16-inch crystal red is what is on the label. I did not label these. So I think it's a 16-inch crystal red heart, but I'm not positive. For the tape, I had the backing on it still. So maybe that's what you're, so I took the back layer off and then I laid it down, but I did lay it on top of plastic. So maybe it looked like there was 2 layers. Okay, big lollipop, pretty easy. Oh, see? Oh, geez, sorry. Sorry if I scared anyone. I will take another one. stick with a cup. This cup is way bigger than I should be using, but it's what I have right now. I forgot. This was kind of like a last minute add-on. I was just, again, inspired by like all the nostalgia candies, but I would pick a smaller cup. But this one works, and it's going in a wrapper, so you can't really tell. Okay, so back to the clear cellophane that we use to wrap the Smarties. Well, Sweeties for this purpose. And then we'll use this again to wrap the heart. For the lollipop. So you just kind of measure. There, cut this. Let's see. All the way across. And then I just heat sealed all the ends. It's not super clean, but you know, it's a candy wrapper. It's not going to be perfect. I feel like you could either heat seal them, or you could just kind of gather them all on the bottom, which would be equally as cute. You just kind of wrap it. So I don't know. We'll try this way too. And then we'll use our Brooklyn 260s as the ribbon again. So pull this to get all the air out, tie a knot at the end, and tie it around. So in this case, because I have that jumbo oversized cup, at least in my head, it's nice because it's going to hide that cup when I bunch it at the bottom. You're not going to be able to see that. You could tie it in this little bow to match the Sweeties, or you could do a balloon bow. The quick and easy balloon bow that I like to do is just, you can use one 260 to make it. So I did 6 pumps again, tied it off, and then I like to find the middle. And then pinch, twist, and I make, that's the middle of my bow. And then I'm gonna do this one. And make one side of my bow. And then I like to make sure that they're similar in size to just kind of follow along on the other side. And then I usually like lay it down. And I like to give a little curve on the end of the bow. And then I always clip off the tail because I like them to be even as possible. And I could put a bow on my lollipop too. So I didn't cut a vinyl for this one, but here's this one. And then here's the one that I heat sealed with the vinyl on it. This one looks a little bit more like the original. This one's super cute too. I think they're both good choices. I don't know, which one do you guys like better? I don't know, I like them both. I think they both have a purpose. All right, we're gonna fill these in and finish up our wall. And I have a basket of little hearts over here. These baskets I love for all of my like little add-ons, like 5-inch or whatever. This way they don't go on the floor, which some of my balloon friends hate. So I made a couple little latex hearts that you can add in. Oops. Take the tails off and then add the dots. We got one vote for the bow lolly. With or without the writing. Then I'm going to take some of these and just fill in to my sweets ball. And then just use these as the finishing touch to tape everything or glue everything into place. So I want my Twizzlers to stay down. I want to fill in, let's see, a little bit of pink here. And we'll attach the Twizzler up there. Let's see. So the Twizzlers, the 260s are nice to fill in the gaps in between some of the balloons. So we'll just put these like right there. That way that stays kind of visible. And we'll put, let's see. Everybody likes, well, I feel like both heat sealed one. I really would like to figure out how to do like the whole charms one. That used to be one of my favorite Valentines to give. I'm gonna put this one right in the middle, kind of looking like a cherry. Some of the latex again. When you add like the different mediums, there's just a nice texture. What else? What other sweets would you guys add to the wall? What did I miss? I am using glue to attach. So it's just the contractor's pack of strips. Oh, kisses. You know, actually, I was going to do a kiss. Hold on. I started a kiss and I didn't like the way it was turning out. I couldn't get the shape exactly right, and so I scratched it. But it's kind of close. I'll tweak it. I've done a giant kiss before. I don't know, what do you think? Close enough? I have to definitely figure out the tag. But the tag on the giant kiss was a little bit easier. The writing on the little one was a little hard. But for this one, all I did, I'll show you what I started to do inside. Silver foil on a roll. A round piece of foam board on the bottom, and then one of the apple twist balloons on top of the foam board. I think it worked. It's just not quite exactly the shape that I wanted, and it was a little bulky at the top for the perfect Hershey Kiss shape. But it could be cute. I could get there somehow. I just gotta work it a little bit more. A funnel would probably be perfect, but I was trying to utilize balloons only. One thing that I always forget on these, even after I've done so many things with foils, is the barcodes. I don't know if we could, it would be great to get rid of barcodes on these balloons. I know the purpose that they serve because I used to buy these for my kids in the checkout lane, but every time I do an install or a wall like this, I always forget about at least one of the barcodes, and they just like stare me in the eye. And by that time, I usually can't undo what I've done. Maybe it's just a me problem. So that one's in there. Any other sweets? The kisses, we got the charms. There's the chocolate strawberry up there, conversation hearts. All right, let's see. We'll put this one over here. And I do always usually assemble this like lying down on the workstation. It was just with making all of these things afterwards a little bit harder to do. So I probably won't get all the way up to the top, but I'm gonna put this second lollipop that we made with the bow up there. I did bring my step stool over here, though. Where did I put that? I'm gonna go back real quick to the whole nostalgia thing. I know this is not the wall, but here's I think my one earring fell off. Here's the little stick-on earring thing that I made earlier this week. And I'm just kind of obsessed with it, not gonna lie. I purposely like put this in here so I could carry it. Okay. Lollipop up there. I don't like how this stick is falling, so we'll just kind of put this over here. And I think I don't know, I think it looks pretty good. I know, those stick-on earrings were literally like everything. I was not allowed to get my ears pierced until I was a little bit older. And so I definitely rocked those all the time. I would put like 2 or 3 because I don't know, I feel like people used to do multiple ear piercings. Okay, I am pretty much done unless anybody has any specific questions before I finish up. I'm going to do a little bit of a zoom out on the wall. Let's see. And then there's the other wall that I did before. And then there's the sweets themed one. But you can make these any theme. So like whatever the Valentine's theme event is, like grab whatever balloons, that you have that go with the theme, and you can put any material on them. So we did our sweeties, our Twizzlers, our lollipops, all these fun foils, all at having a party. I want a 4x8. Yes, it's 4x8. It's on a piece of foam board from Uline. Thank you, Tiffany. Okay, anybody else have any questions? We do need to get the burst foils on there. I will do like a silver themed one and use the iridescence, and then I will post it because that has actually been on my mind. This backdrop for anyone who is just coming on is 8-foot by 4-foot foam board from Uline. And one of the things that I said in the beginning was in order to transport this wall, especially in the colder temperatures, because everything goes terribly wrong in the cold. Like our workshop this week, the heat went out, the lift gate on my truck wouldn't, like the hydraulic lift gate on my truck would not move. It was frozen, quite literally. And everyone foils in the cold, freezing, they shrink. But in order to transport these in the cold, I get also from Uline, they have the queen size mattress bags. They come in a giant roll. Hold on, I'll grab it and I'll show you. really massive. But it's great for transporting these. You put one on the top, one on the bottom, and it covers it completely. And it's also what we transport all of our bigger installs in. And then for anyone who hasn't seen these yet, I think it was Balloon River that just did a giant install with the big inflatable balls. But she added these, which are massive. And I purposely didn't blow this up all the way because I was scared. I was having a bad foil day and I was popping foil, so I didn't want to pop it because I wanted to make sure I showed this. But like, look at how big this is. It's amazing. It's huge. I have a couple things that I'm going to be posting with these coming up. Like, they are hang points on the top, so I'm sure the first thing that I thought was like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine filling that with helium. But there's 3 hang points on the top of these. So I have some installs coming up where I'm going to just put, like, I'm gonna literally hang this and then giant tail with like a cupid's bow coming down. Okay. Anything else? I'm gonna scroll and see if I missed any questions. Thank you, thank you. I think I got all the questions. I want to say thank you to Having a Party for having me. I don't do a lot of teachable anythings. I kind of sit in my workshop a little bit more and brainstorm, but I love being able to meet all of my balloon friends, both here and in person. And so thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. I really appreciate it. And if you have any questions, always feel free to DM me. I do have a super annoying autoresponder, but I'll still check and get back to you at some point if you have any questions. But I will send links to the transfer paper and a couple of other things to the guys at Having a Party. And I think that's it. So everybody have a great night. I'm going to end the live with a little quick spin of my workshop so you guys can see what it looks like. And again, feel free to send any questions, anything like that. And again, if you missed in the beginning, I've got TVs up here because we used to be a bar. So there's my color wall. We've got all the colors, all of our little balloons up there. Our helium area is over there. That's a backdrop that's ready to go for tomorrow. Some backstock, all of our backdrops. And then just some orders that we're getting ready for this weekend. All right, thanks guys. Have a great night. Let me see if I can switch this around and say goodbye. Oh, close up. Bye.